Hello again, everybody, at Vintage Iron Range Dirt Track Racing. I am here this morning with Hibbing's Donnie Oz, local legend of the racing scene. How are you doing today, Donnie?
Good, good.
It's really good to have you here. Nice to see you. What got you interested in dirt track racing?
I guess going and watching it. We were at the drag racing, but we'd go on Saturday and watch that.
As a young kid or teenager?
No, I was married already when I got into it, but I was going to the races before I got married. We were street racing, and then we'd go to cities drag racing.
So compared to a lot of young kids today, you kind of got a late start then
Yeah.
in racing. When did you start racing?
I thought 64, but Superior, Wisconsin has me down for winning their first Russ Larson Classic in 63, and I know that was with our second car we built.
So possibly 62.
Possibly 62.
So you were winning races before you even remember racing. That's
I
a
just
pretty,
don't remember the year.
That's a pretty good stat. What class did you start racing in?
Late model.
You started in late model. And what kind of car was it?
54 Ford with a 427.
Is it true you won the point championship your first year in late model?
Yeah.
How do you explain that? How do you win your rookie year, went to late model and you won the point championship?
I had Ernie Broadham partnered with me, and he builds a hell of a motor. But pretty soon he's building it for everybody else, so it was harder. But
Takes away the advantage.
yeah.
Okay. When you were younger, was there anybody in particular, 2, 3 people maybe, racers that you really looked up to?
The first one I think was Bob Percy from Virginia.
Okay, yep.
He was always fast. Then he graduated from that Model A or 32s with flatheads to a late model, and he just kept right on winning. So he was good.
Okay. So Bob Percy was probably
One out, yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody else you remember?
Well, Andy Reardon, because he was the guy I had to beat all the time, and he was good.
It's easy to remember somebody when you have to try to beat them. What all classes did you race throughout your racing career?
Late models, modified, super stock, hobby even. 6 of them, 5 of them,
How about modified?
modified.
So there's pretty much nothing you haven't raced.
I guess not, I don't know. I raced a hobby stock for my brother, who drove it to work after Saturday night. Put the headlights back in it, and throw the extra seat back in it, and taillights, and he'd drive it to work until somebody rolled me over.
Then it was undrivable.
Yeah.
My, how times have changed. What was your favorite class to race?
Late model.
And why is that?
I don't know. It was just, when you turn them, they turned where you aimed them anyway. I don't know. I like that the best.
Okay.
And I like watching them the best.
Throughout your career, did you have car owners that you raced for that you were like a hired gun, or did you own most of your cars, or how did that?
Well, I was half owner with Ernie Broadman in that first one, but then I raced for Lappinen after Bob Percy got hurt. And I raced for Shaddy Holman, Dan Isaacson, I don't know, quite a few.
I remember you had a few,
Royney.
Bob Royney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's probably some more.
Now, it seems to me when you raced, your A1 was your number most of the time. Is that your personal preference as a
Yeah.
number? How did you come up with that?
Charlie Gargano thought of it because we were going into the 6 owners, I think, for second class, and there was a 1 there, and I was 1 in the late model when I owned my own car. So he suggested just put an E in front of it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear it's not because of the steak sauce. Are there any people that you would like to thank that were instrumental in helping you throughout your career in racing?
Well, there's a lot of them. The most recent one would be Harold Scholler, because I tried to quit in '89, I took the grader operator job at the track. And I don't know if I should tell this story or not, but he come out and got in the grader and wanted me to drive his car in Proctor, because his driver wouldn't go to Proctor. And Kevin Davey had a keg on the corner of the front wall.
Mm-hmm.
So every lap he'd stop us and give us a solo cup.
So you're slowly convincing
Pretty
you.
soon he was running one side to get laid and I was running the other, and we had to track all screws.
So then he twisted your arm enough though to drive him. So Harold Scholler would be another
He
guy
got
that
me
you
into it,
raced
and then he
for.
bought a modified, and I drove his modified.
Okay. Who else in your career has helped you?
Well, Ernie Broadham, he was the biggest influence.
Okay.
And then everybody I drove for, Rainey and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Gargano and John Tronis, we all owned that six-cylinder.
I remember when I was a kid going to Charlie Gargano's house all the time and seeing a white A1 in his
We
garage.
lost John last year.
Oh yeah, that's too bad. But there's a lot of people we've been losing. You were very close with Ernie Broadham.
Yeah.
And I never personally met Ernie Broadham, but I've heard a lot about him, and he is the only engine builder that I've never heard a bad word spoken about.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can tell us about Ernie Broadham?
Oh. He welded a crankshaft for me when I was street racing. And I sold it to Vern Westerland, and he thinks it's still doable. He was the evil genius. He could do anything.
Just a master at engine.
Built his own balancer to balance cranks.
I had heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And
could
it
he
worked.
could work miracles with
Yeah.
with virtually nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I took Tronis there. Tronis was a welder in the mines. I took him there one day, and Ernie was welding a big chunky back in a Cummings block for the guy at Chisholm. What was that outfit? The
Gray Hex.
Grayhex, yeah.
Yeah.
He'd weld it all. Tronis said, "You can't do that, Ernie." He said, "I do it all the time. I don't know."
Well, it's guys like that we surely miss today. You're a member of the Hibbing Raceway Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you were inducted into that?
The second year they had
The
it.
second year they had it. Do you know what year that was? I certainly don't.
No.
Okay. All right.
What is there? Only been 4, I
I don't know how many there have been.
think there's only 4 years. So.
Okay. All right. Well, this concludes part 1 of our interview with Don Oz. Stay tuned for part 2.